All right, check this out. This is a 2018 Volkswagen Atlas. We've got a chocolate milkshake in here. Look at that. Looks like coffee. That's not good. And I gotta fix this tonight because we have somewhere to go this weekend. So I gotta get it done tonight. It's cold. It stinks. Like earlier this week, it was like 80 degrees at night. Now it's like 50. So, but whatever. I got this. The reason why we have all that oil in the coolant is because of the oil cooler. So that's what we're going to replace in this video. Luckily, it is not a head gasket in this case, but I did get a lot of comments on my short video saying that it was a head gasket problem. Fortunately, this is a lot easier to change than head gaskets. To help you diagnose an oil cooler problem in your vehicle, I will link a video in the upper right-hand corner. Now let's get into it and show you how easy this is to replace. All right, disconnect the connector. Just use some pliers. Take that hose off. Pull that off. That's gross. All right, we're gonna take this oil cooler off. First, I'm gonna drain the oil before we take it off. 6mm. All right, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, there's coolant in there. That's not oil. Back that up a little bit. Yeah, it's too thin to be oil. Obviously, you're going to take the under shield off. There's a plug right there. I'll disconnect that plug. Pull that off. Wire right there. Pull that retainer off. Because this is a little tight, I'm going to disconnect this connector as well. Got like a lock on it. Pull that little lock tab back. And you can push down on it, disconnect that connector. Just move that harness out of the way. Let's see, 36mm socket. Housing off. All right, take the oil filter out. Yeah, that's gross. Oh, coolant in there. Not good. All right, let's see what the engine oil looks like. Well, there's no coolant in there. It's just thick oil. So that makes me feel a little better. It's not great, but it's still better than coolant in it. Not too bad. Could have been worse. Okay, well, that's still draining. I'm going to drain the coolant out right here. Get another bucket. There we go. I'm going to try not to take a shower. Oh yeah, it's coming out milky too. I'm going to take this hose off here just so we can move this one out of the way a little bit. Although that's probably going to be dripping on my head. It's okay. Pull this over here. I'm just gonna tip this one up out of the way. It's so gross. Ah. That's up and out of the way. Now I'm taking the whole housing off. I don't know that you can do this without taking the housing off, but I feel like it's not worth it to even try. So we'll just take the whole thing off. All right, I'll take that hose off. Still got the drain bucket underneath, collecting more of the milkshake. Come on. Ooh, a little bit of drip. Ooh, lots of oil out of there. That is not good. All right, while that's draining, there's a couple bolts in the housing. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna take those bolts out. All right, 13mm bolts. One, two, where's the third? Above the sensor. I can't really see the third bolt, but it's just a little bit above the sensor. Must be the oil pressure sensor. Alright, those are all loose. Really long bolts. I'll pull that out. Yeah, it pulls down. Oh, there's some oil. Alright, take that hose clamp off. There we go. Pull that off. You're supposed to replace these bolts. So I got new bolts. Separate the cooler from the housing. There we go. There's the two other seals in the cooler. Yeah, those seals are junk. Pull those seals off. Just trying to clean that up a little bit. Put those seals on. Alright, that fits good. And we're going to replace that seal too. Pop that off. It's getting cold out. And put that seal on. There you go. That fits good. Take the cooler. Only goes on one way. Slide that in position. Get the bolt started. They gave me 6. I only needed 5. It's okay. All right, you're gonna torque these to 8 Newton meters. All right, pretty good. Now, that on, we're ready to install it. I am gonna put a new filter in there, but I'm just gonna do that once it's already back in the vehicle. Drained out as much of the gunk as possible. Just gonna have to flush out the coolant system a couple times. Oh man. Let's get these bolts lined up. There we go. All right, those hose clamps are on. Get the bolts started. All 3 bolts. Didn't say you have to replace these ones, so I didn't order them. Supposed to be 20 Newton meters. Let's see. Double check. Good. Oh. Plug the connectors in. Where's that thing? All right. Goes like that. Lock that down. The connector. Line that up. Push that in. Push the lock on. And then the hoses. Put these hoses on. Yeah, and I'm probably going to drain this out a couple times. All right, that's good. And while I'm here, put an oil filter in it. There we go. Let's wipe that out. Not too tight. Pull this out for a sec. See if any more oil. Yeah, I'll let that drain for a little bit. All right, that job's not too bad. I did that in my driveway on ramps. It's pretty easy, so feel free to do that yourself. Definitely something you can handle. Obviously, you got to top off your fluids. The coolant system I had to flush out many times. Obviously, you got to put your oil in and put your coolant in. You're going to flush out your coolant system. Now, I will make another video on the coolant flushing out all the oil. I did it kind of in unconventional type way, but I believe I got most of the oil out. If you look in there, there's a little bit of oil in there, but it's really not that bad. I mean, you saw how bad it was, so definitely got almost all of it. There's probably 5% left, so, but yeah, that's coolant. I'm probably gonna do one more flush just to make sure it's all out, but it's way better than it was, so I definitely fixed the problem. And because the oil was pretty bad, I actually flushed that out as well. I drove it for about 4 days and then drained it and put fresh oil in. I put a new filter on. I probably didn't need the new filter, but I just did it just in case. If you want to check out the coolant flush video of doing this a little bit unconventionally, you can check that video out right there. All right, thanks.